So knowing how to number your storyboards isn't really something that we want to have to think about, but it is incredibly important in order to keep a production organized. Now, while a lot of productions have very specific ways they like to number their sequences and acts, but it is very important to understand the general differences between numbering scenes and shots in live action projects versus 2D animation projects. One thing in common between all types of productions is that some scenes or shots need multiple panels or drawings to show one action. So for instance, scene 1, shot 1 in this project here, and I have this set for live action numbering right now. I've got 3 different drawings, if you look down on the timeline, as the guy's in different positions, for one shot. It just took a few different drawings. In the second one, I've got 5 different drawings of him as he lands and he looks around. Those are called panels, which are within a shot or a scene, and that is common to animation and live action. In live action, what we do is we look at every location is a scene, but we may have a lot of different shots within that scene because we can just turn the camera and move it to a new position and start rolling again. Let me show you a real easy way of looking at this, and we'll compare this versus 2D animation. In live action numbering, in this sequence here, I've got 4 shots, but it's all one scene because it all takes place inside this train car. So here we've got scene 1, shot 1. That's where he's riding up, and it's kind of a wide, full shot of him on the horse outside of the frame. Scene 1, shot 2. So the second shot is a close-up where he lands and looks around. Then we have shot 3 of his POV where he's looking around inside. And then shot 4, we're back to the close-up of him. Easy enough. One scene, 4 shots. All right, let's go back to our storyboard profile. In animation, every new camera angle is considered a new scene. So, in order to do this, first of all, let's change the numbering style in our storyboard profile and watch how it automatically updates. Now, here's what I want you to look at. In the panel tab over on the right, you'll see we have scene, shot, and panel. Now, we already talked about panels, however many drawings it takes to show an action. You're not going to see scene and shot in animation. We do right now. Or we can look over here down on the left. We have scene, shot, and panel as well on the timeline. So to change this to animation numbering, I'm going to go to my Edit drop-down menu, go to Preferences. Now I'm going to select the General tab. Right down here in the middle, terminology style, live action or animation. We're going to switch it to animation. Now as soon as I click OK, notice what happens. Over here in our panel tab, they consider a collection of scenes a sequence. And then we have scene and then panel. Notice there's no shot. Same thing down over here on the left side of our timeline. So let's go to my graphic and let's take a look at the differences here. Same storyboard. On the bottom is 2D animation. Notice there are no shots, just scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, and scene 4. Every time we have a new camera angle in 2D animation, we're considering a new scene. Why? Because we have to create an entire new background. Makes sense? That's the industry standard. That's really all you have to remember. Now, where it gets a little confusing, I'll just hop back to the storyboard software here. So where does that leave us with 3D animation or CG? Well, believe it or not, it can actually be numbered either way. And it's really going to be dependent on the production unless it's a mix of 2D and 3D, and then generally it's going to use the 2D numbering structure. Now, you're bound to have questions about how to number sequences and scenes at some point on a production. Just ask production, and they will help you out and give you their guidelines so that everyone is working in the same way. But as long as you understand the basic differences between numbering for live action and animation, you're going to do great.